everybody, Patty Ann here. Today I'm going to go over how to make rhinestone designs and how to use them, make the designs in Silhouette and use them in your Cricut machine. It's easy peasy. This one, I made one of those eye pillows, but you could easily put this on a shirt, change its size, and I'm going to show you that in just a sec. So let's get busy. Okay, the first thing I wanted to do was to show you where I got the design. I'll have the link for it for you down below so it's easier for you to find when you come to design bundles. And I really appreciate if you use my link because I do get a tiny commission and it helps to keep me going. So thanks so much. But anyway, I got my design here and I'm going to show you how we can make this larger or smaller in Silhouette Studio to be used in our Cricut machines. So let's get started. Okay, when you download this, you'll notice that you get three different things. A JPEG that shows the image. This zip file is for your Silhouette, Cameo, that kind of thing. And then there's a Cricut one. I will show you the Cricut one later, but we're going to start by using the zip file, the general zip file, because I want to show you and teach you how you can change things up in Silhouette Business Edition for your Cricut machine. So you don't have to just buy the Cricut one and you're not limited to what they have there for you. You'll be able to easily customize and just change up however you want the designs that you're able to get. So I'm going to just download the American Diva one, and it comes right here, and I'll double click on it to open it. And then of course it says I have to extract all, and I'll leave it like it is. Once I've extracted it, I can see, let's see. Well, it doesn't really let me see too much here. So let's go to Silhouette now and open these files. Here I am in Silhouette Business Edition, and the reason why you need the Business Edition is simply because you need it for Cricut machines. If you have a Silhouette machine, I believe Designer Edition and above will allow you to mess with, work with, design with rhinestones. But if you have the Cricut machine, you have to purchase this program one time. I have a link for you down below. One-time purchase. It's yours to keep forever and ever, and you'll be able to do so much with it. So anyway, let's go to File, and I'll say Merge because I'll bring it right into this page. American Diva, here it is here. And I'm going to bring in the SVG file right here. Okay, it comes in kind of odd, and that's because they have this broken down into three boxes. And the reason, let me get rid of these so you can see better. And I wonder if I scroll out. There we go. And the reason why they've broken it down into three boxes is because they wanted you to do all of these rhinestones in black or a charcoal or a white, whatever works on your shirt. These, it looks like they have done these in the blue, and this is in red. And so it's easy to have these all perfectly spaced when you cut them on boxes like this or in pieces of the flock that you get, the special flock. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to just use two colors. First, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to get rid of the American up here where it says American, because I'm not going to put that on my I'm not going to put that on my little pad that I'm making. And I may not even want to have it on my shirt. So in order to get rid of that, I am going to just go ahead and double click. Let's move this. Just going to grab these like this, right? So I have my pointer up here, my select tool selected. I'm just going to drag across just these letters and delete them. Okay, I got more than just the letters. I did not want the box as well, just the letters and delete. Got a few more up here to get rid of. Look, I can move that box, but I don't really want to move the box, to be honest with you, because I want that to stay exactly where it is. So I'm going to click on the box, hold down my shift and get the letters also, but I'm still holding down the shift key. Now I'm going to click on the box to deselect it, and now I can delete that. So I'm going to grab all these things and say group, and group these, group, and I'll group this. Group. Okay, so that's all we need so far. So I can get rid of this if I want to, because I'm not going to putz with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this diva over here because I'm going to kind of build on that. But like I said, I'm going to use two colors. So let's bring this over and scroll in better so you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of this in a black or a gray like they have. But actually I did mine in a gorgeous blue. So let me go ahead and ungroup. And let's see if I can grab all this stuff, hold down my shift key and click on the box to deselect it. Then I'm going to change the word diva to the blue. And then for these guys here, I'm going to also add these two fellas to it. So I'm going to ungroup this, grab these two guys, and I know that I'm going to have to move this to the front. See how those go to the back? So I'm going to right click on it and say bring to the front. And I know those go right in there like that perfectly. Like there. Now I can see that there's something wrong with this little design. But before I show you, let's group all of this together. I'm going to bring this box. Okay, there we go. Bringing this box over on top. I am going to go ahead and get this little paint palette over here because that allows me to change the transparency on that top page. So that allows me to see where this is supposed to go. So these are supposed to go like this. Now, this is something I want you to see. Check this out right here. Let's move this where it really belongs. Like so. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to move some of these down a little bit because they're overlapping and I don't want that to happen. And I also know there's an extra gray one in here. This one should actually be blue. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my top one right here and I'm just going to right click on it and say ungroup. Then if I click off and then click back on, maybe I need to ungroup twice. There we go, to get the little boxes around it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one right here and just delete it out. And then for these right here, I'm just going to grab them and move them down a little bit just like that. Okay. So that's all ready. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here to this paint palette and I'm going to say, I'm going to select by color and I'm going to say by fill color. So I'm selecting by the brown because I want to group all the brown back together again. So I can just hit Control and G on my keyboard and that grouped all the brown back together. And also, let's see, I want to go ahead and let me think. If I grab that, hold down my shift key and grab the other, does that get me the yellow? Yes, perfect. That gets me the yellow pieces that the brown is on. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I've already undone these two, they've ungrouped them. So one of the things that you can easily do in this software is to come over to the Rhinestone panel. It's way over here on the right, kind of looks like a rhinestone. And if I want to, I'm doing the 10 SS rhinestones. That's the size it said to use. So I'm going to pop one of them right in here. So I'm going to say freehand and put one. I think I'll scroll way in first so I can see what I'm doing carefully. Freehand, and I'm going to pop one right in here. There we go. Perfect. And I think I will make sure that the color is the same as the others. Great. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll back out And before I mess with this anymore, I'm going to go ahead and grab all of these things and again group. So before I do anything else, I'm going to drag this guy back over. I guess I'll right click and bring him to the front so that I can make sure I haven't moved anything where it shouldn't be. Okay, so that looks really, really good to me. Okay, now this would be ready to cut just like this in Silhouette. Other than, since I'm using my portrait, I would have to go ahead and use this little rotation button, hold down my Shift key, because that allows it to move just like that. And I would go to Send, and it shows me exactly what's going to cut. It's going to cut around each one of these little circles, cut them out, and it's also going to cut this box around here, which is perfect. And the reason why I say it's perfect is this. If I take this same box and twirl it around, and whoops, hold down my Shift key, and then let go of my mouse and then my Shift, bring this over top, notice when I line up these boxes perfectly, those things all line up exactly where they need to be. So I would just move this one when I was done with it and bring this one over, and I could say Send, and it would cut these out and the box as well. Now as you get more experienced, obviously you can cut this so you're not using so much of your sticky flock. You can make this cut down so you're not using as much as your sticky flock, but it works out really easily to do it like this right now. So let's see if we were just to save this just as it is. So I'm going to go to File, Save Selection, save it to my hard drive, and I'm just going to name it Diva for Cricut 1, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to go up because I just want it in my downloads, and I'm going to save it as an SVG. Remember, if you don't have the business edition, that will not be an option for you. You must purchase the business edition one time. It's yours to keep to have that option. So I'll say OK. So let's open up Cricut Design Space. Now I've been playing around, so let's do a new one and replace. So I'm going to say upload an image, browse, Diva for Cricut number 1. And there it is. It says it's a large image. It might take a moment. We're okay. Let's say upload. And did you notice it was a cut? Put it in the canvas. All right. This is what I want you to see. Look at all these cuts over here. Every one of these dots is a different cut file. And at some point, depending on how advanced your design is, this is going to be really a pain in your neck. So let's delete that one. Let's go back to Silhouette. I'm going to show you how to make it better. So just grab all this stuff and go, well, let's do one at a time. This one, come up here to Object, make it a compound path. Same with this one, grab it, Object, make it a compound path. And now let's see what happens. Let's grab both of those, go to File, Save Selection, save it to the hard drive. This time, we're going to name it a SVG again. Diva for Cricut, but we'll label this one number 2. Okay, and say OK. Now let's go over to Cricut and see if this is better. So I'll upload an image, browse, Diva for Cricut 2, open. Notice that popped in just like that, and it didn't say anything about it being a large image. So let's upload it, and let's add it to our canvas. Check it out. There's just 2 cuts to make this, right? There's not, every one of these little dots is not a separate cut. There is one problem though. I want you to take note. Look at the width of this. It's 13.143. Let's go back over to Silhouette. Okay, this time it worked out for us. We didn't have a problem. but sometimes I do. So let me undo this. So what you really should do when you're saving these things, I'm grabbing both. I'm looking at the size down here, the width. I always use the width. Always, always. And then I never have to wonder, did I use the width? Did I use the height? Blah, blah. Always use the width. So I would go to File, Save Selection, save it to my hard drive, and I'm going to name it this time 13.143, and I'll name it Diva for Cricut 3. And I'll save it as an SVG. Okay. So this time we'll open Cricut Design Space. Let's get rid of this one. I'm going to upload an image, browse, 13.143. So there it is. It's a cut image. Upload. Put it in here. Okay. And in case it didn't come in the right size, which this time it did, oftentimes you'll notice it doesn't. So this is crucial that you change your size before you do anything to 13.143. You cannot change the size of anything in Cricut Design Space, and I'll show you why. So let's ungroup these two things. All right, and I'm going to duplicate this one. So click on it and duplicate it. And I want to show you why you cannot change the size. These size holes that will be cut are the exact size you need for 10 SS rhinestones, because that's how this was set up and that's what it's using. If I decide I want to make this bigger, look what it does to the size of the rhinestone holes. They're too big now, and the rhinestones won't fit in there right. Or how about this? What if we were to take this, whoopsie, undo. What if we took this one and we made it a lot smaller because we wanted it to fit? All right, now I want you to look at the size of these rhinestone holes, and I can promise you that your 10 SS rhinestones won't fit in these tinier holes. So the thing you must remember in Cricut Design Space, you must never, ever, ever, ever change the size of the template that you bring in, that you make yourself, that you purchased already made. You must not do that. But let's go back to Silhouette for a second. I want to show you something. Let's say we have, let's say we're going to do a heart, and we want to put rhinestones around the heart. So we're going to put rhinestones right here. Right now it's on none, no rhinestones. This little diagram will put them around the outer edge. This one will fill it linear, in lines or linearly, and this will fill it radially, or a radial fill. But let's go back around the edge again. Now, as I said, in Cricut Design Space, you can never, ever, ever, ever change the size of stuff. But in Silhouette, you can. And here's why. If you'll notice right here, remember we chose the 10 SS rhinestones because those are the only ones I have. Okay, that stands for size, stone size. And it tells me right here, to do this heart, I will need to do 105 rhinestones. Okay? But check this out. If I make this smaller, okay, the size of the rhinestones stay exactly the same, but this program is so advanced, it knows to get rid of rhinestones rather than resizing them. So now it only takes 73 rhinestones. If I decide I want a bigger heart, instead of making these holes really big, this fabulous program automatically changes how many rhinestones are used. As I said, I use the 10 size of rhinestones. Notice the 16 ones are bigger, and the 20SS are bigger yet. So you can get different sizes of rhinestones out there depending on where you purchase them. And then there's the 6, which I've never used. They're so tiny. But again, if you're using the 6, it says you'll use 198 if you're, using the heart at this size. If you change the heart to much smaller, the rhinestones did not get smaller, just the number of them changed. Okay, as you can see, my first template, I did cut out of the sticky flock because I plan on making a lot of these. I really like the sticky flock if you plan on making a lot of something. So after I'm done using this, of course, and if I'm done making a lot of them, I can save this. I have a whole notebook full of templates that I've saved. Carefully take this off, that's sticky. And then all I do is put it on this paper. Oops, sorry about that noise. That this came off of originally. Okay, like that. And when I'm ready to use it again, I can simply peel it right off that paper and it's good to go. Or I could even just use it on this paper now. That would work perfectly as well. So I'll do the same thing with the other piece. I have this, and this is what it cut out, all those little guys. Be careful when you take them off because they are sticky on the back and they'll stick to everything on your table, which is what I had happen. So I've gotten all those off and I'll throw those in the trash. Okay. And again, now I can save this template. Same thing. Carefully pull it off and stick it on here. But for this purpose, I'm going to show you how, if you don't have sticky flock and maybe you're just making one thing, how easy it is just to use cardstock. Okay, since this is just an example of one, and I'm not really going to use this one, I'm using the older Diva one that's missing the little rhinestone here that I taught you how to fix earlier. So I'm going to rotate this so it will fit, holding down my shift key. Whoops! Got to hold down my shift key, release my mouse first, and then my shift key. And I'm going to go to send. And I'm going to go ahead and load this. Now I've used a heavy cardstock. You can try any cardstocks you have and do some experimenting yourself. And we're going to wait for this to become available. I'm going to change this from glitter cardstock to cardstock textured heavy. And I'm going to say cut edge. And I'm going to change my blade depth because I know how old my blade is. And before I do anything else, of course, I'm going to test it to see if it's going to work well. So I'll say test. All right, and when that's finished, I'll bring that out and let's see how well that did. Okay, that cut really well. Let's see about the little triangle inside. That cut pretty well too. I think I might just make it one more heavy just to make sure. And I'm going to slow it down a little bit because that's a lot of little circles to cut. All right, so I'm going to put this back in here and let it cut all the circles. And I'll meet you back here. Okay, it's all finished. Let's see if my money saving tip is going to actually save you a pile of money like I think it will. Fingers are crossed. I did do a video earlier. I'll link it up above where I tested different kinds of sticky flock as well. So let's check this out. Bring it out and take it off the mat. Okay, cut around the square really well. And okay, check that out. Can you see? That worked perfectly. There's a couple little dots hanging out in here a little bit, but I could just poke those out with my finger or a pencil, or if I knew where I placed my little tool, maybe this thing can help for right now. Okay, probably press them out this way. So I'm looking to see if any that didn't come totally out, and it's easy just to poke them out with a little pokey tool of some sort. Just want to make sure that they're all out so that we can try putting the rhinestones in here and see how well it works. Looks like I got everything else. Okay, let's move these into my trash, and let's make sure. I'm double checking. Okay, that looks great. So again, what I would do is just bring this out, this tray, and what I can do is I can either spray a little sticky on the back of this or go ahead and use some masking tape. Alright, so this is just to hold it in place so it doesn't move while I'm putting the rhinestones in. So all I would do next is just take some rhinestones and dump a bunch on here. More than you think you'll need. And then I do like to use this tool to just circle around. Okay, the crown and the D are totally done. Let's see. You can. Okay, and there it is. And that is how easy it is to use cardstock instead of having to buy sticky flock. Can you see that? Well, I just bumped a bunch out when I did that. But, because I was trying to make it come up so you could see it better. So the advantage to taping it all down around the edges is when I try to bring these up, they're going underneath of my cardstock. So you want to tape on all edges. Anyway, you get the idea. I had them all in here perfectly a minute ago. But you can see how easy it is and how money saving it is to use this cardstock instead of the sticky flock. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you that I think is money saving and y'all might like to do if you like to go to flea markets or craft shows, boutiques, even coming up, getting ready for next Christmas. You can do all the letters out like this and save them. And suppose somebody comes up to you and says, I have this little pouch and I want it to be personalized with the name Anne on there. So you could very easily take these off. So here's the letter, here's the N. Okay, I've already put all the letters for Anne on here. Let's see if I can do this at an angle for you. Not sure if it will work. We'll see if they'll stay in nicely for me. Okay. So there's the word Anne, or the name Anne. Yikes. So what I would do now, and I'll show you this, if I was doing this and personalizing this for somebody, hopefully I can lay it down and they won't pop out. All right, then I would take my transfer paper that I have right here, and I've seen on somebody else's video, they said if you don't have this transfer paper, you can take the transfer paper off your HTV vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, and use that instead. But I happen to have this, so it's good. So I would just do this, pull these up. Okay, if any don't stick, just press it down again and grab them up. Great. Okay, careful when you remove it. All right. So there is the name Anne. And let's imagine, I've got an extra little dot in here, which I want to remove before I iron this on. I must not have seen there was an extra. So let me get rid of that one. Where is he? Let's see, where is he? Oh, there he is, between the A and the N. There we go. All right, so now we have the name Anne. And suppose this is the little bag. You know, obviously you could make a bag anyway. If you do embroidery, you could make a little zip bag, whatever you'd want to do. But then if this is the little bag and you're personalizing it for them, all you would have to do while you're at your show is to do what I just did. Put this on here like this and bring over your easy press. And depending on how large of a thing you're planning on doing for people, you could probably use a different easy press than the one I'm using. I have this card that I've gotten from the Rhinestone world that I love because it gives me all the heat settings and the time settings for the different sizes of rhinestones. So I'm using the SS10, so it says I should have my heat press set to 335 for 15 seconds, a medium to firm pressure. So let me get out my little heat resistant board. And this would be the perfect board for you to have there as well. If you needed to cut something, you could cut, and then on this side it'd be very convenient for ironing. So just like that. And what I like to use is a piece of Teflon on top. Any size of Teflon would work. Like this. And when my heat press says it's ready, I'll press this on. So as you can see, you would not even need your portrait there because you've pre-cut out all of these letters. And since you did it out of sticky flock, they can be used again and again and again. And of course, you'll want to make duplicates of some because notice I had two N's. Make duplicates of them. So in case the person's name is Terry, you have two R's. If you don't have two R's, of course, you could easily fix that by doing it twice and putting it in there, but it's easier if you have two. So my heat press is just about ready. But you can see though, if I had this, how I could easily put a name in here or an initial. And again, if you don't want to do small ones like that, you could do the whole alphabet like this. Hopefully you can see it. The letter E, right? If somebody's initial is an E. Okay, and all the letters of the alphabet. Do them one time and you use them over and over and over and over again. So, and obviously you wouldn't have to wait for your heat press to warm up because while you're starting this, you could have it turned on and ready to go. So this wouldn't take long at all to personalize things and really make them special for people. Okay, heat press is ready. And like I said, I'm not sure I'd use one this big, but let's go. Medium to a, medium to a firm pressure. Okay, that's it. Take this off. And let's see what we've got. So there's Anne. Lift this up. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, you probably can't see the glitter as well as I can, but it's just beautiful. Now, something that you could do, and of course this is reusable too, so don't get rid of your transfer paper. Again and again, use it. And then if you wanted to, what you could do is turn your bag over that you've made or whatever you're personalizing for people and just give it another little press on the back because that's where the glue is, on the back side of the rhinestones, just to make sure it stays. Okay, that's good. You don't want to overdo it. All right, that's really nice. Super cute way to personalize things for people, for gifts, or for wherever you might be selling things. So I hope you liked this video. You'll give me a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe and tell your friends about it. Fabulous way to make money. Some money-saving tips for you using cardstock. And, you know, if you're in the market to buy some things, check out my links down below because it does help me to be able to purchase things, to test things for you guys. and to keep Patty Ann's Place going. So thanks again for joining me. See you again soon. Bye, y'all.